to the ninth Manila MuleSoft virtual meetup. So for today, we will be tackling about an insight to AWS with MuleSoft. So I'll be your host for today. I'm Rika, together along with my co-host Jane.
Hi everyone, I'm Jane Arnonobel, Rika's co-host for today's virtual meetup. We hope everyone will enjoy our today's session.
Yes. So I hope everyone is doing fine. And I know it's still pandemic and everyone is busy. So um, we do appreciate that you guys taking the time to attend this virtual meetup and for us to gather and provide each other knowledge about MuleSoft. So yeah. So let's proceed.
Okay, shall we start, Rika?
Yes. So before we start, we will be um, asking everyone to keep in mind the housekeeping rules.
Okay, for this session, it will be recorded.
And please be muted during the speaker presentation.
The recording and slides for today's presentation will be made available to all the attendees.
And at the end of each presentation, there will be a Q&A session.
After all the presentation, there will be a quiz game where you will get a chance to win a training voucher from.
All right. So we have listed down the activities that we have for today's session. So here are the agendas for today.
Okay, at 5:40 p.m., we will have our introductions.
And at 6 p.m., we have AWS as containerized mule runtime.
At 6:15, we will have RTF EKS setup.
And at 6:30 p.m., we have AWS and MuleSoft integration, S3, and DynamoDB.
And at 7 p.m., we will have quiz and giveaways.
Yes, and lastly, at 7:20 p.m., we have the closing remarks.
Okay.
All right, guys, so I'd like to introduce to you the people responsible for this event. We would like to thank each and every one of them for giving their time and effort to make this event happen.
We have Ryan Andal,
Janice Geronimo,
Christopher Ko,
Ivan Kenneth Cruz,
I, Jane Rosette Arnanoval. Hi, guys!
and yours truly, Janrica Lingaro. You can call me Rika for short. So, guys, we would like to know if there are any first timers that will be joining for today's virtual meetup. So, you can comment or answer in the chat box, and our co-host will be reading your answers.
Oh, first timer from Amit. Hi, Amit. Where you're from?
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Where you
So, I guess it's
from?
not only from the Philippines, right? We are all
From
over the
India.
world.
Hello from the Philippines.
Hi, what's up? I hope you guys are doing fine, doing well. Thank
Shout
you
out to
for
Mola.
joining.
Hi.
Hi. All right, so we would like to thank our sponsors. So this event will not be coming true to life. So thank you for our sponsors, Capgemini, and also especially to MuleSoft.
Yes, thank you. We
Okay,
also
so after
encourage,
this, yes, Jane, sorry.
we also encourage everyone to post about this event. So in your social media account, just use hashtag Manila MuleSoft Meetup and
Ah,
hashtag MuleSoft Meetup.
yes, please do tweet us to please do use our official hashtag and also post us about your experience with this virtual meetup.
Yes.
So, yeah, so everyone, please spread the news.
Hi everyone.
Okay, so before we start, we would like to have a little icebreaker for you guys so you'll be a bit more energetic. So, we would like to have
Hmm.
you guys to participate in this game, which is called Sounds Like.
Okay. What are the mechanics?
All right, so for the mechanics, we have um we have a example here. So, you guys familiar with the four picks and one word? I know it's a trending game before.
Soft
So
drink.
it's kind of similar to this, but this is two picks with one word. So
Two to three
you're going
peaks.
to associate these pictures that you see on the screen, and then you will identify what word does it describe. So for example, we have Smirnoff's mule, and then a
You have
towel, which is soap.
towel.
So it's mule
You
soap.
have.
Yay!
So you only have 10 seconds to guess the correct answer.
Yes, that's right. So, guys, are you ready? Let's start the first question.
Okay. Oops.
All right. Only 10 seconds. You can uh, provide your
Open
answers in
mo.
the chat box.
Okay, ready? 10, 9,
Eight,
8. Okay,
seven.
I think we have a correct answer. Hi, Herbert.
Wow, that's so fast.
Open source.
Okay, congratulations. You guessed it right.
Congrats.
Okay, so next. Are you
Oh,
guys ready for this? Only 10 seconds to answer, okay?
10, 9, 8,
Eight, seven,
7, 6, 5.
five,
Oh, we
four.
have, okay, we have a winner. I think it's Jazer.
Wow,
Jazer.
congrats.
Hi, Jazer.
So what did Jaser answer?
UI.
All right, that's correct. You guys
Hi,
are
Jazer.
awesome. Okay, last but not the least, this is the final question for the icebreaker. Can you
This
guess
one
this right?
part. Okay, we have we have a winner. Hi,
Oh,
Nathan.
that's so fast.
Hi, Neil.
What's the answer?
Stack Overflow.
Oh my god, you guys are so brilliant, guys. Give yourself an applause. Congratulations, everyone. You did a great job. All
Oh,
right, so that's the icebreaker, guys. I hope
hmm.
you feel energetic.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now we will be introducing to you guys our speakers for this event. They are our very own MuleSoft experts who will be sharing their experience when it comes to MuleSoft. So we have Jared Nartates. Jared Nartates has a management of multiple financial system integrations.
And he designed and developed tools for managed services automation.
Yes, and he is also experienced in platform management over AWS and MuleSoft products. Wow.
And lastly, he is also certified Mule 3 and Mule 4 developer.
And for our second speaker, we have Emir Arpila. Emir is a MuleSoft certified integration architect.
He is also a MCD integration and API associate for Mule 4 and Mule 3.9.
And yes, he is also MCD API design associate. Wow, that's our speakers for today, guys. All right, so we would like to give the floor to Mr. Jared Nartates.
Hi, I'll be sharing my screen. Where's that button? Actually, I prepared a script, but still I'm nervous. So hang on tight, everyone. Okay. So today I'll be talking about AWS as containerized mule runtime. And I hope you, while you're listening, you think of ways that you can implement this on your own projects and on your own work also. Today we'll also be using Docker, but I know that Docker is not something you may know by now. But bear with me as I walk you through because this thing has a lot of potential. When you try to implement a fine-grained design over Cloud Hub, you can never go beyond the fact that it gets expensive. Well, do not fret. you can still use cloud management services out there, just just as what is AWS is offering. Today we'll be tackling about the setting up. We'll be tackling about setting up a containerized environment over AWS, EC2 instances, and then we'll be looking into how they work. So on this slide, according to AWS, these are the benefits you may want to consider when using their platform. There are cost-effective, easy to use, flexible, reliable, scalable, and high-performance, secure. And other benefits from my experience are performance optimization will be on your control, reusability, more granular security enforcement, and additional options for monitoring. Well, of course, ARM or any point platform already has that, but still having a few more options is a great idea when dealing with server health and everything that you want to monitor. So the scope of this topic would be pulling the Docker image, running the Mule Docker container, registering server container to any point runtime manager, and deploying API through ARM. So I'll be showing you a pre-recorded video because I don't want to get all of your time. Let me just hide this one and share the video. Now that we can run our MuleSoft runtime over our TCP. Wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Again, take two. How to utilize or so the first thing that I assume that you have got runtime, right? Then for this purpose,
Jared, the audio is weak. Can you increase the sound?
sure, sure. How about now? Run Docker over Git. Is it better? And to do so, before running container, you are required to have an
Yeah, it's better.
wherein you can use versions from you'll be up to the latest Mule 4.3 currently that we have. So um, for this demonstration, we will be using this Mule 4.3 21.0304 because it's the patch one we had, and we just it's as simple as copying this command and then running it on the dock. So after the image has been loaded, it's now time for us to run your Docker container using the Mule 4.3. So right here, I prepared the simple command that you may need to run it and publish the 8081 ports for your application. So now let's try that, paste it. So it just tells us to run this container, this new 4.3 image, AWS
Hello, Jared.
container.
I think the audio is
You
not clear.
just
Can you restart the video and make the sound better?
Sure, sure. I heard you. Wait, doing that. Wait, stop. Let me try sharing it again. Share. Can you please tell me if it now if it's clear enough? Utilize this EC2 instance as a runtime container or MuleSoft API. So the first thing that we may wanna do is I assume that you will already create an EC2 instance I've logged on the Docker runtime EC2 instance that I had. And then for this purpose, I've already Docker. So we can now run Docker over this virtual. Wait, I'll just narrate what I'm doing right here. So, but can you still see the video? Is it still running or is it also?
Yes, it's running.
Okay. So right now, I'm just presenting here. So when you wanna try this one on Dockerized environment, you can already have or you can already pull a lot of images that WSLPH that had created previously. So one is this 4.30 version of that image because this 2021-0304 has the patched version. So a lot of versions for 4.3 had been released and security patches had been implemented on it. So you just have to copy that and then paste that on the EC2 instance that you have. So right there. So after that you pull the image, you just have to run the container. So this is a simple command to run the image with Docker. So this one it just tells us to run the WSLPH 4.30 with mule EE name as its name, and then after that see the Docker while it's the Docker logs while it's running. So right there, it's booting up. Okay. So after that has been booted up, you can now register this thing. You now have a running Docker you now have a running environment on your Docker over EC2 instance. So to use that with Anypoint platform, you just have to go to Anypoint platform and then log in, as you have saw, and then register it on Runtime Manager. Click Servers, and then there's an Add Server. And give it a name. I think I named it Meetup Server 1. Just copy that command, and then go again to the EC2 instance that you have. So right here, I'm still on the EC2 instance. And then you have to go inside the Docker container. So the Docker PS shows you what images you are currently running. So we have WSLPH 4.3 running, and then we have to go inside that image. So Docker exec-it mule-ee bash. So inside that Docker image, you just have to go to the bin folder, and then you just paste the command that you copied earlier. That one. Okay, so we copy this on the Docker, then run it inside. So while running, it is registering the container as a server on Anypoint platform. See, after that command has been executed, you'll see it will end up as created on the Anypoint platform. So this is still not usable. You still, before it can be used, it needs to be active. So to do that, you have to restart the Mule runtime. Well, the easiest way is to restart the whole Docker environment. So that's Docker restart mule-ee. It will restart the whole Docker environment, and then uh, after that should be registered. We'll be just looking into the logs how it went. I think that's it. There. So it's already running. So since your server is now running, this server can now be used to deploy your applications. So to deploy an application, go to applications and then click deploy application. So right here, it's just I think most of you are familiar with this. You just have to input the application name, and I prepared a test of the for getting quote of the day. As you can see, our server that we just registered is now under the deployment target on this option. So, so after that, you just have to upload your file. Upload the file. Where are you, file? There's the file. Just upload the file. Then deploy application. Okay, so it's starting up. The API is now trying to deploy itself on the runtime server. So let's see the status of that over our Docker. So we just went inside the Docker and see the logs of that API or the Docker itself to see what the status is there. So right after you upload the API on runtime on the Anypoint platform, it would then deploy on that server, and then these logs are showing us that API was already started. So there, the test QOD API is now started. So from for the preparation, so since I have an EC2 instance and it has a public IP, I've configured that on my DNS host so that I can easily target that address because I can't remember so much numbers for a long time. So I've registered it as meetup.capgemini.com 8081. So we'll just be sending simple HTTP request. So using curl. So meetup.capgemini.com. Then the port 8081 meetup API 1.0 QOD. Then there you have it. So that's the code. The code and author is uh, printed right after the curl. So it's working. So your EC2 instance with the Docker container is working, and I think that's how simple it is to configure that. So we did not do anything hard. I think we just copy most of the commands, and then we just run it inside the EC2 instance and the Docker environment. And I think that's it. Does he have something to say? I think there's none. So I'll just stop this and continue my slides. Uh, PowerPoint slides.
Jared, maybe
Yes.
you can talk about the benefit of your topic earlier.
Yes, of course, the benefit of this is having another option. Because usually, you, from what you probably experience, you usually deploy APIs over Cloud Hub. So Cloud Hub, as I've discussed earlier, I think I mentioned that already. When you try to design an API led on Cloud Hub and it gets bigger, it becomes more expensive. So because vCores are not that budget friendly. So having this is with the right skills, I think you can have more options on running your MuleSoft APIs, and then um, is there anything benefit? Uh, I think I think that's it because you can still run APIs on Cloud Hub, but this AWS is more budget friendly. You can still configure a lot of things inside this one, and a lot of things needs to be configured for your benefit. So are we going to the Q&A right now, or are we?
No, proceed.
Do we have to?
Just
Uh, can we end the presentation first?
yes. End your presentation first. Just proceed with your presentation.
Okay. So let's save the Q&As later because I think I'll be taking a lot of time for answering a lot of questions right away. So anyway, huh. So that was my muted tutorial. So again, since you know how to use Cloud Hub, well, using Cloud Hub has a lot of benefits, all right? And I'm not taking away that from you, but since AWS is also offering cloud management services, this is another option for you to take advantage of. Since using AWS gives you a lot of flexibility in your usage of resources, I think it's a good thing to give it a try or have another option for that. So from what we've discussed, so it's not just about using the Docker container. MuleSoft also developed a way for us to have the runtime fabric. So for those people that are familiar with runtime fabric, you can only use runtime fabric on bare metals, meaning these are just virtual machines, and then you run the scripts that they will be providing you, and then that's it, the runtime fabric. So right now, runtime fabric can run on EKS clusters. EKS clusters, or the Elastic Kubernetes systems. This will be the self-managed Kubernetes. So a lot of things would be tackled here, and a lot of things would not be tackled here. So as we go along, I'll just be showing you the basics on how to set up the RTF, and then we'll have the question and answer later. So the scope would be validating, installing RTF on EKS, and installing the license, associating to environment and deployment. So again, I'll be showing you another video that I'll be narrating because we'll just have to go out with the uh, with the audio. Oh wait,
By the way, Jared, can you share your screen, please?
yes, I'll be sharing the screen.
Thanks.
Wait up. Hmm. Can you see my? Can you see the shared window now?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start narrating this thing. Okay, so when you want to set up your RTF over EKS, it's I think it would be as simple as doing it here on the runtime manager again. But in any case, you still have to be knowledgeable on managing Kubernetes, or you need to have Kubernetes knowledge to make this work. So right now, on this walkthrough, we'll be going through that on how you can use runtime fabric over EKS. So a lot of options is shown here because these are, I think, cloud management services that enables Elastic Kubernetes. And then you just have to, again, just like registering your own server, you just have to give it a name and then choose a platform where you want to install this thing, the RTF, or the self-managed Kubernetes. So here we are still on the environment that I've created, the Meetup 9, where we earlier set up the Docker container as a runtime server. So let's call it Meetup RTF, and then we'll be using Amazon self managed Kubernetes. So this note here is just um, reminding you that you need to have Kubernetes knowledge to still make this work. So again, just like any other license or any other agreement, you just have to accept to proceed. Okay, so upon accepting, you'll be guided on this page. On this page, you'll just see this activation code. You may want to copy that, and then if you don't know how to set up this app, they place the link, the setup guide, and it will direct you right here. This is fairly documented enough for us to run our Kubernetes up and running. So these are the configurations, a lot of steps that you may want to enable so that our RTF can run properly. These are mostly ports, protocols, and uh, web, websites that you may need to give permission to. So after that, we did step 1 and then step 2. So we'll be jumping to step 3. So setting up your RTF over EKS needs a utility. This is the RTF CTL utility. And again, you have to download that on your server or the EC2 instance that, or again, the wherever you may want the EKS cluster to run on. You can use the RTF-CTL to manage your Kubernetes on your local machine, and then just point the configuration or the context to the specific EKS cluster that you want to manage. So there's a lot of reading on this, but if you're familiar with Kubernetes, I think it's pretty straightforward. You just have to set the context where you want it, and then you just have to follow these steps. So these are various steps that we'll be going through. So the RTF CTL validate. And then you can see there is a parameter, the activation data. The activation data, so let's paste that. Let's paste that first, the RTF CTL validate. The activation data is the same activation code that we have on the RTF page. So you just have to paste that. And then it will do its work. So the RTF-CTL needs to be downloaded and to be modified to a runnable shell script. So after that, it verifies and validates your cluster if it can run your RTF or the runtime fabric. Then after validating, you can now install your runtime fabric. So again, it's just a matter of copying and pasting it on the terminal. So RTF-CTL install copy and then copy again the activation code, paste. Okay, I think I made a boo-boo here where I copied that one. So come on. Okay, install, then paste the correct activation code. And there. So it may take a few minutes to install the RTF-CTL. So I think I skipped that. But after the runtime fabric is ready, you can see the logs. It will tell you that the runtime fabric is ready. Going back to the same page, the activation page is now gone, and the RTF or the runtime fabric is now uh, set as registered. So registered means it has been validated and it has been installed. So I think after just update it to the latest version, the RTF to the latest version. So to make that active, you have to have the license. So the license is the same license.lick file that will be provided to you whenever you subscribe to any of the MuleSoft packages. So get that license.lick file and then create a base64 version of that file. So you just have to run this command again. So base64-w0 and then the license.lick. On this video, I think I cut it because I have to prepare the license, the base64 license for the activation. So I think I've got that right after. So you just have to copy that, copy, then paste, and then get the base64 version of your license.lick. So I just place some uh, because it's a sensitive data. Place something over so you can't copy it. So clear. So again, so after that, so it means that you have installed it properly, and then the RTF will now come up as active. After that, you can now associate this runtime fabric on any environment that you may want. So since that we have the Meetup 9, let's associate it to Meetup 9 environment. We just have to click it and check, then apply a location. What what does that do? It means that this RTF, when you try to deploy applications, it would be part of the options where you can deploy your API. So I think we'll try that. So deploy application. And then again, let's have the test QOD RTF QOD API again. The same as earlier. And now, since that we've set up this Meetup server earlier, we now have the Meetup RTF. So since we associated this runtime fabric with this environment. So all these options are available for you. So runtime version, you can choose whatever runtime version that you may want. CPU, replicas is how much replicas you may want this thing to have run on. Well, when you try to work on Kubernetes, it has replicas. It is the count of workers or worker pods that you want to have it on your server running. So uh, it this thing is scalable when you use Kubernetes. Again, the CPU and the CPU limit is adjustable. Also, the memory. So the adjustment over here would be applied to each replica that you have. So again, you can open the same jar used for deploying the earlier version of our API. So Ingress would be tackling about on how would you want the traffic to go in, the properties and the JVMs. There's something I assume that you are familiar with because Cloud Hub already has these things. So for logs, any-point monitoring requires Titanium. So the shipping of logs on Kubernetes RTF, you can see them on any-point monitoring when you have Titanium. If you don't have any of that, you just have to implement your own log shipping. So let's deploy it. Okay. So I think that would be the scope. We will not be testing it outright like the other. Because right here, it is showing us that you can still watch for the status of that containers that you wanted to deploy. So if you want to know more about the RTF, and I think it's pretty uh, straightforward on how things work with RTF, but the complexity comes with managing your own Kubernetes. So a lot of things needs to be configured before uh, this RTF becomes available publicly, or before you can let the traffic through, like the ingresses and configurations, config maps, virtual services, and all that. These are all Kubernetes items. So for our for our scope, just look at what we're seeing. For the things that we deployed on the server, Dockerized environment, it started. And for the RTF, the status is running. Why is that? Because on since on the server, you can see the specific status of the API. So that's why it started. While on the RTF, since optionally you can have a lot of replicas over here, you can still have it running while deploying a new one. So just like how Cloud Hub makes it work, Cloud Hub, before killing your new deployment, it needs to have the before killing your old, it needs to have the new deployment up and running. So the RTF also does that while uh, you want to configure that. So I think that's the scope for the RTF. So setting up is pretty easy, but with the right tools and with the right skills, I think it will improve your general experience with MuleSoft. I think MuleSoft is also going through this um, direction where they want to promote this RTF, where you can manage your own EKS, because this thing again has a lot of potential and it can help a lot on managing your PPCs and security and other things that you may be considering when trying to have a secured and fine grade design architecture. So I think that's it. So that ends my presentation for using AWS as your runtime server. Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Jared, for that wonderful presentation. So now, guys, we will now be dwelling into the Q&A portion of the event. So I know you guys have a lot of questions to Jared regarding the earlier topic. So now you can drop your questions on the Q&A tab, which you can find on the which you can find beside the general tab.
Okay, which ones are we going to answer? Let's see. What license do we need to deploy on Cloud Hub? What license do we need to deploy on Cloud Hub? I think this is Cloud Hub related, but you only need licenses when you are trying to manage your own servers. It is called the on-premise servers. So you on Cloud Hub, I don't think that you be needing any license file, because the subscription comes with you the availability of the vCores that you can use on your application. So if you have vCores enough for your application, you don't have to configure anything for that. So it's not the same thing with the with using on-prem services. So on-prem means you have to manage those servers on your own. That's why you need the license to make it work. I hope I answered that correctly. So, was the meetups was the meetups capgemini.com public host configured on EC2 instance itself? Well, for this meetups, that capgemini.com was just configured on my ETC host. So it has a public IP of 3 dot something dot something dot something. So I just configured that on my ETC host so I can fire up my curl uh, directly to that EC2 instance. So I think it's just a bit of hacking into your own network so that I can make it work properly. Another is, can you monitor it? Can you monitor it? Yes, since AWS has their own monitoring, it gives you another option on to look into the health of your servers. Anypoint Runtime Manager also gives you, well, I am assuming this is about the runtime fabric and the endpoint monitoring, gives you power to monitor, just like on endpoint monitoring, you can see inbound requests, the JVM used, heap, and all that. You can just have to. I think you can discover that on your own when you have that privilege. Next, I think Q. Is there more? If you are wait, what are the advantages of using RTF EKS? Again, advantages still is self-managing your resources, because as we know, Kubernetes is the solution for Dockerized environment going haywire. So since Kubernetes is something that manages a lot of images or containerized environment, having knowledge on EKS helps you a lot on resolving things like conflicts and other things that may arise for when you don't know what's going on with your servers. But nonetheless, what the Kubernetes is solving is also a solution to the RTF EKS. In terms of cost, do you think it is cheaper to have Docker other than Cloud Hub? Well, it depends still, no? It depends on what kind of application that you want. Because having Cloud Hub subscription, everything from the support to the runtime and everything that's in it, and the server, the PPCs, and all that, the MuleSoft team can help you with it. But without that, I think when you have your on-prem server, you'll be on your own to look into servers and problematic and diagnose any troubleshooting that you may need. But in terms of cost, um, I think it's fairly cheaper just to have par and par uh, capacity with AWS versus Cloud Hub. But if you prefer to not bother yourself with any problems, I'd still choose Cloud Hub, because again, the maintenance would be on MuleSoft side. Just curious though, any reason why you used info? For the question of Gian Labadia, I'm not. Uh, there's no particular reason why I used INF instance. It's just that that's what was available for me. So I seek help to someone that can set that up. What's this? If you are implementing DR, do you we still to need the configuration? For example, the region you did is residing is yes. You have to uh, again. Let me repeat the question. If you are implementing DR, do we still need to redo the configuration when, for example, the region you did it is residing in Asia Pacific and this region is down? So um yes. So the short answer is yes. So I think I don't have any more time. I'll just give the time to the host and or the next speaker. Thank you. I'll
Thank
just
you, Jared.
answer it offline.
All right. Thank you, Jared. Next presentation, please welcome Emirjo Orpilia. Mr. Emir, you may proceed with the presentation.
All right, let me share my screen now. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, good afternoon or good evening, guys. I'm Emir Arpilia. I will be your presenter for DynamoDB and S3 integration with MuleSoft. So, quick introduction with the AWS and MuleSoft. AWS offers fully featured services trusted by millions of customers around the globe. MuleSoft accelerates integration to cloud services, and it starts with out-of-the-box connectors to key AWS services. MuleSoft provides an integration platform that delivers complete end-to-end visibility, governance, and security. Here are the out-of-the-box connectors for AWS. These connectors, they provide seamless integration. which in turn allows builders to focus on innovation rather than integration. Setting up these connectors are fairly easy. There are documents, references provided by MuleSoft to help us get running and connect to AWS services. All right. For this meetup, we would like to share our knowledge with DynamoDB and S3 services. These are two storage solutions offered by AWS to its customers for different use cases. So let's start off with DynamoDB. DynamoDB is a NoSQL key value and document database that delivers single-digit millisecond performance at any scale. It's fully managed, multi-region, multi-active, and durable database. It has built-in security, backup and restore, and in-memory caching for internet-scale applications. Many of the world's fastest growing businesses, such as Lyft and Airbnb, depend on the scale and performance of DynamoDB to support their mission-critical workloads. Next one is S3. S3 is an object storage service. It's used to store and protect any amount of data, and it has lots of easy-to-use management features. All right. So both are cloud-based solutions offered by AWS. They both can store and retrieve data. However, there are key differences between the two that we must keep in mind. So first, like I've said earlier, DynamoDB is a document database. It has limits on storage size, particularly 400 kilobytes per item. And it stores items in tables like a traditional RDBMS. Next one is the S3. It's designed for large binary and structured data like images or log files, and it can store individual objects up to 5 terabytes. And it stores items into buckets. So buckets, you can compare them to like drives in a window machine. And as a general rule of thumb, if you want to store potentially huge objects and only need to process individual objects at a time, then you choose S3. If you need to store small bits of structured or semi-structured data with minimal latency and potential need to process groups of objects in atomic transaction, then use DynamoDB. So before we get started with the demo, I want to touch this topic. We have here Identity and Access Management, or IAM for short. This is a key service in AWS that allows us to gain access in both DynamoDB and S3. So let's look at how to set this up. So first, we need to create a user for this and assign necessary access. IAM enables you to manage access to AWS services and resources securely. Using IAM, you can create and manage AWS users and groups and use permissions to allow and deny their access to AWS resources. So to start off, let's go to the AWS website here and type IAM. So here's the dashboard for IAM. In here, you can create user groups, you can create users, roles, policies, and even set up identity providers. So to create a user, just go here and click this button here. So for this, it's easy. It's pretty easy to set up. You just need to fill in and then assign permissions. But for the purpose of this meetup, I already created one, which is Mule Meetup 9. So let's go back to my slides. Yeah. So assigning permissions is easy. We just need to click add permissions here, and then this way we can add the permission. So for this exercise, we were going to use S3 and DynamoDB full access. So like it. However, I added an SQS here as well because we're going to demo one feature in DynamoDB. But for S3 and DynamoDB only, you can have these two. One thing to note is that once you have created the user here, AWS will give you both access and secret key. However, AWS does not allow you retrieval of the secret key after its initial creation. So if ever you lost or forgot the secret key, you must generate the new access and secret key pair, which you do that in the security credentials here and create access key. And yeah, let's go back to my slides. Now we move on to DynamoDB. So let's go to the website of the AWS again and type DynamoDB here. So setting up DynamoDB is easy as well. In here, just click tables here. And if you want to create a table, just click this button over here. So for the purpose of this meetup, I already created a table, employees table here. Okay. Quick note here, just look at the partition key and the sort key. Partition key and sort key provide what the AWS calls a composite primary key. The partition key, this is used for partitioning the data. The data with the same partition key is stored together, which allows you to query data with the same partition key in only one query. All right. While the optional sort key, it determines the order of how the records is returned. So the combination of these two, they uniquely identify one record on the table. All right. But for this example, I'm only using one, the partition key, which is enough. All right. Okay. Next, we check the MuleSoft side. So for the MuleSoft side, here is the connector, the Amazon DynamoDB, and here are all the operations that it has. As I mentioned previously, MuleSoft does offer an out-of-the-box connector for DynamoDB for the CRUD and batch operations. So for the DynamoDB demo, I'm going to show you the item operations. Item operations, they do allow you to view, create, update, or read items in the DynamoDB tables. So delete item, obviously it deletes an item in the table using a given primary key. So in our example, we only have the partition key, but if you have like a partition key and the sort key, you have to provide it here. So for the query, it finds item based on primary key values. You can query any table that has a composite primary key. All right. While the scan, it returns one or more items by accessing every item in the table. You can return fewer items here by using a field called filter expression. So query and scan, they're both similar in the sense that they search for items in the table. However, generally speaking, you prefer query here because it has better performance. All right. Query is performing like a direct lookup for selected partition based on the primary key and secondary partition or hash key. While the scan it's like scanning through the whole table, looking for elements matching its criteria. So performance-wise, scan is worse than query. So yeah, if you have the keys on your query parameters, then prefer using the query. Next is the put item and update item. They're both kind of similar as well as because they either create a new item or replace an old item. So the item will be replaced if you supplied the same primary key. However, the difference with the update item is that it only updates the past attributes. All right. With the put, it completely replaces everything. All right. Okay, one more thing before we start with the demo of DynamoDB. DynamoDB expects some attribute types for each values that you will be providing. Take this sample create request with account ID and here account ID and LNAME fields. So each letter here, they denote to a certain data type. So S here is for string. So if for this account ID, we're using this value, which is a number. That's why we're putting it on N. N denotes a number. So SS, if we have a string set, we can put it on this part. And for NS, it's a number set, then we put it here. And for M, map object, then we put it here. So the DynamoDB documentation, they offer a full recommendation of all the attribute types, but these are the most common based from my experience. Okay, let's start with the demo of DynamoDB. But first, can anyone hear me? All right.
Yes, Amir, you're audible.
Okay, all right. Let's go back. Okay. First, let's check my postman. I have here create, and we have here get, and we have here get employees. We have update employee, and we have delete employee. We start off with the create employee, where we provide these fields: employee ID, first name, last name, and account ID. We plan to put these in the table here. So let's check the items. Currently, we don't have any item here. Okay. So for the create, I'm going to use the put item component. So setting this up. Oh, by the way, I forgot one thing. Uh, Hold on. First, we have to. Okay. Here's the. Oh, sorry. Oh, here's the global elements properties, and this is the DynamoDB configuration. So we have to set this up first, and the access key and the secret key. As you recall, we set this up already on the IAM, and we got this from there. And we also need to provide the region endpoint, and that's it. That's the only thing you need to set up on the configurations. All right. Now moving on to the code itself, here put item. As you can see, it's very easy to set up. We just need to provide the table name and then the item that we're going to insert. So checking this component, as you recall earlier, we have to set up we have to provide like the data type. For employee ID, we have to set this up as string, and for first name, we have to set it up as S, and so on. And for account ID, we have to set this up as N. And we're going to log it. Then on the response, just going to log the actual response. And then from the API response, we're just going to return the employee ID, which we created. All right, let's clear the console first. So create employee. And here, we created a deputy dog here. Let's check the DynamoDB if we got the record. And here, we're able to retrieve the record. Checking the logs here. Yeah, I showed this already. Just generated the payload that the DynamoDB expects. All right, and we try to create another record, Katy Perry. All right, and try to refresh it. All right, we're able to get Katy Perry also. Okay, next we'll try to do a get employee by ID. The ID, I put it in here on the URI parameter. So let's check the get employee by ID. All right, I'm using query here. You can also use get item, but for this example, I use query. For query though, we just need to provide the key condition expression, the table here, and the attribute which contains the values. Okay, for the key condition expression, it's just this. We just need to note the key. And for the attribute, this is the value of the employee ID. All right, then we're just going to log it. Then from here, we're just going to map the response to what we want. And that's it. Try to do this. So we're able to get Deputy Dog and also Katy Perry. I'll try to check the logs. So here's the, sorry, not that one. Okay. Here's the key condition expression and the attribute. And here's the actual response from the DynamoDB. And here is the item. Here's the response here. And then we're just going to map so we won't get this value on the response. We need to map with the actual data type. All right, moving on, we have get all employees where we are going to show the scan. So for this, we're using the account ID, get all employees using the account ID. So going to my code again. For scan, there are a bit more fields to enter, but it's not very complicated. You just need to put the attribute, the table name, and the filter. So the filter, it's a filter to query the result. So for the filter here we're going to search either by account ID, first name, and last name. But for this example, we're only going to search for account ID. Then the attribute, these are for the attribute, these are the values that we're going to put in here on the filter expression. Then this is the same code we had before. Just going to map the values that we want with a specific data type. And yeah, try to search this. All right, we got all the employees. Next, we're going to do an update. We're going to change the name. We're going to change the name of Deputy Dog to Deputy Junior Doggy, as well for Katy Perry to Katy Purito. So let's check the code. For update employee, we're going to use the update items. For this, we just need to provide the table name, the key, and the expression. So here's the key. And for the expression, I just created like a data type to, I just wanted to make this dynamic. That's why I created a data weave script and the attribute value here. Let's try to clear console. And yeah, I will try to update an employee. Okay, we'll check the DynamoDB. All right, we're able to change the name of the employee. All right, so for the log here, the key expression is here. The update expression is this one. We're just updating the first name and the last name. And here's the attribute. All right, and that's it. We'll try to update the other employee as well. Okay, then we do get employees. Try to see if their names got changed, and they indeed got changed. And try to refresh here as well. Okay, able to see all of them. All right, and the last one is delete. So for delete, we're just going to delete by employee ID. All right, we're just going to check the code here for delete. This is the simplest of them all. We just need to provide the table name and the primary key. Okay, and that's it. Basically, try to delete it here and try to get all employees. Okay, we're able to delete Deputy Dog. Then try to delete Katy Perry as well. And try to get it. Okay, it's gone now. And try to check this one. All right, so there's no more employees on the DynamoDB table. And that's it for DynamoDB. Moving on to the next one. We'll talk about the S3 integration with MuleSoft. So for S3, we'll check the website of the what do you call this? The AWS again. Type here S3. So for S3, here's the buckets. If you want to create a bucket, just click here. But for the purpose of this meetup, I already created one. And currently, we don't have any objects here. All right. Going back to my Postman, let's clear this up. Okay. So for this, I have an upload. I can list, I can download the object, and I can delete the object. All right. And here's the file. So here, I'm going to upload these files here. First, we have an AWS photo here. And we have a MuleSoft JPEG photo here. All right, these are two images. And yeah, so we start off with the upload. All right, we'll check the code first for S3. Here's the code. We have a create object here. For create object, this is easier to set up. For S3, the setup is also easy. We just need to provide the bucket name, and you have to provide the key. And also the object. This is the object that we're going to upload. All right. We're also going to use the file component here because the component is going to retrieve the file on my local machine. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, let's try to demo this one. Upload photo. Yay, the file uploaded. Try to refresh this. And here's the file. Let's try to upload the other one as well. And here, try to refresh this. Yeah, here you go. Then we do list objects. For list objects, let's check the component that I'm going to use. This is the list objects. So for the list objects, we just need to provide the bucket name here. And that's it. Here's the bucket name. And try to list them. And here. So I have here the key. The key is the file name and the size, file size. So it actually outputs other data as well, but I have here an API response, a transform, I mean, wherein I only get the key and the size. And for the other one, we're going to download the file. So in here, we're going to download here again. We're going to use this file name, MuleSoft Partner downloaded, and put it on the S3 part 1. All right, S3 part 1 folder. So we check the code first for the download. Here's the download. We use the get object component. So for this, we just need to set up the bucket and the key. So that's the only thing we need to do. And then we have a file component here that saves the file on my local machine. Okay. All right. Try to run this. Currently, there's nothing here, only the photo that I uploaded. Try this one. Okay, the file got downloaded, and here it is. Now we try to download the other one as well, the AWS photo, and okay, and here. All right. Now, for the next one, we're going to delete the file that we have uploaded here on the bucket. All right. Try to delete the file here. But wait, first we need to check the component. We're going to use the delete object. So for the delete object, we're just going to supply the bucket name and the key. And that's pretty much it. Run this, and it got deleted. And the other one as well. And it got deleted. Try to refresh this. And the files are no longer here. All right. And that's it. One bonus thing here, I want to show the onNew object. So for onNew object, this is triggered every time we create a file here. So if you recall, this created these two files here. Let me delete this one. Move to trash. And then here, okay, let's go to the component first. So for the component, the bucket name is this one. We have a frequency of every 10 seconds. And then we have a get object here to download the file and then save to my local machine. All right. Try to upload again. Then we check here. Okay. So as you can see, the onNew object was triggered and I was able to retrieve the file which I have uploaded. We'll try the other one as well. Okay. Okay. I was able to get the other file as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for that wonderful presentation. So at this point in our program, we will be proceeding with the Q&A. So I'll pause for a while and give an opportunity for everybody to raise their question.
Okay. For the first question here, the DynamoDB connector. DynamoDB has transactions indeed, but unfortunately, I don't have an example for that for today. And how about this? How optimistic concurrency control handle in DynamoDB? AWS is capable of handling the concurrency here, so no issue regarding this one. Mary Joy. For S3 connector support streaming, this one I'm not sure because we usually only create files for that, but we like files or log file. But for streaming data, that this I'm not sure. I haven't have experience doing streaming on the S3 connector.
Okay, is there any questions? Rika, I think we can proceed on the next agenda.
All right, thank you, Jane. So now we're almost done with the event, but this is the portion that I know you guys are waiting for. This is the giveaway, and then we're going to play the game Wheel of Fortune. So I know some of you guys are familiar with this game, but this is the mechanics because we have a plot twist for this game. So for the mechanics, my co-host Jane will choose a letter at random in every 10 seconds, and then first one to guess the phrase will win a training voucher. But please do take note that the account which you have used for this event will be the same account which will be credited with the training voucher in case you just win. Okay, so now let's proceed with the game.
Please share your screen first. We can see your screen.
Sorry. Okay, so this is the mechanics, guys. I'll be proceeding with the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so we have before we proceed, we have an example here. Okay, Jane, can you give us a letter?
Q.
Letter Q. Do we have Q? All right, we have Q. And then second letter, please.
How about A?
A. Do we have A? Okay, we have A. So once Jane provide a random letter, you can now guess the phrase, and then whoever guess it first will win a training voucher. So for this one, for example, it's called SpongeBob SpanX. So we have a category here which is a cartoon character. Okay, now we will proceed to the first question. All right, under category meetup, Jane, can you provide us a random letter?
Letter E.
Letter E. Ooh, we have letter E. Can you guys already guess this one?
How about letter T?
Letter T. Okay, we have letter T.
How about letter S?
Letter S. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, you can drop your answers on the chat box, and our uh team will be looking after who will guess the answer first.
Yeah. So letter L.
Letter L. Do we have letter L? Yes, we have letter L.
How about letter Y?
Letter Y. Okay, we do not have letter Y.
Oh. D.
Letter D. We also don't have letter D.
F.
F. Okay, we have letter F. Can you guys already guess this one?
Okay, we have a winner.
What is the answer?
An insight to AWS with MuleSoft.
Congratulations. Who guessed it right?
Congratulations, Mecca.
Wow, congratulations, Becca. Great job. Okay, proceeding with the second question. Under category requirement, Jane, can you provide us a letter?
Requirement. F.
S?
F.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
I'll click letter F. Okay, we don't have letter F.
Oh. R.
Letter R. Oops, no letter R.
Letter A.
Letter A.
Mhm.
Okay, we have letter A.
How about letter L?
Letter L. Nope.
Nope. G.
Letter G. Okay, we have one.
H.
Letter H. Nope.
C.
Letter C. Okay, we have two. Can
Oh.
you guess this one, guys?
How about letter M?
Letter M.
Guys, guess
Okay, we
it.
have letter M.
Okay, we have an answer. Is it identity and access management? Hmm?
That's correct.
Congratulations, Peter Angelo.
Wow, good job.
Good job. Okay.
Okay, off to the next question.
Last one, right?
Yes, this is the last one.
Okay.
You can do this, guys. So for the category meet up again,
A.
letter A. Okay, we have three letter A.
M.
Letter M.
Yep. Letter E.
Letter E. Ooh, we have a lot of E.
Ooh. Letter D.
Letter D.
Hmm.
Okay, we have letter D.
Letter V.
Letter V. Nice.
Oh.
Can you guess this one, guys?
Letter S.
Letter S. Okay, we have two.
Okay.
You can do
We
this, guys.
have an answer. We have an answer. AMQS in stage event driven architecture. Is that correct?
That's correct. Congratulations, whoever gets this
Congratulations,
correctly.
Catherine.
Congratulations. Okay,
Okay.
so that's it for our giveaway.
Mm.
Wait, guys, I'll just put the slides. Okay, so speaking of AMQS, it's stage event driven architecture, we have an upcoming event for our virtual meetup, which will be held on the 4th of August. I hope you guys could also join and register for our upcoming event, which is
Yes.
also, the link is also provided here in the screens, and we'll also link it on the chat box so you can register now.
Yeah. See you there.
Yes, guys, you there.
Okay. So don't forget to tweet and use the hashtag the music is good. Okay. And we also invite you to join our network, and uh, it's nice to have your feedback also. So please contact MuleSoft at meetups at mulesoft.com for ways to improve the program.
Yes. Thank you, Jane. So please do share your feedback to us so we can improve and have your suggested topics for the
Yeah.
upcoming event. So what's next? Uh, we are looking for speakers. If you guys are interested, you can message us, and if you have any topics that you
topic.
would like to tackle, or uh, give the speakers interesting topic to discuss, you can
Yes.
also hit us up.
We love to hear them.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys.
So yeah, that will be the end of our virtual meetup event. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. Thank you for participating in our virtual meetup. We hope to see you again, and please do join our upcoming meetup, uh, MuleSoft Meetup.
See you. We hope to see
Ryan, do you have any
you.